Okay, let's go through general print settings for printing the stationery. So again, we ask that you print these with our specialty paper that goes with each product, and that you use your office printer. And we've tried this on a lot of printers from Canons and Hewlett Packards, and it works on all of them. But there's just a couple little tricks, not so much tricks, but just hints that I'm going to go over. So let's start with a prayer card. If you were printing a prayer card, you'll see it's built 8 up. And the reason you'll get some of these back that are upside down, and the reason is the background we have merged together with the background up top. And this way, that merge line is smooth, and you won't, if you don't trim it just perfectly, you won't see a hard edge. So when you print these out, it might look funny because half of them are upside down, but when you are done with them, you'll have 8 different cards front and back, and the backs are designed to line up as well. So if you print these, it's pretty important that if you want it to be borderless, that the artwork doesn't enlarge. If it enlarges too much, these names go out. They grow out to the sides. Everything gets bigger. So then when you trim it, this will be off-center. So one of the things we've noticed when we print these is that quite often when you print on a borderless setting, the artwork gets enlarged by the print software. It's just the nature of most of the printers will enlarge it 1 or 2%. So I always like to print them about 99% on borderless. So in this case, I would go File Print. Depending on what printer you're going to use, you can see the different lists here that we've used. I'm going to stick with this OfficeJet Pro 8210. So make sure you pick a borderless US letter paper. Some of these don't come and say borderless here. You've got another area where you check to have no border, and just make sure that's clicked, and it'll view the way it's printed for the most part. Like I said, it'll enlarge it some though. So in this case, I'm going to go to scale. I'm going to put it on 99%. And I'm going to try that for my first print and just see if I get a little white edge, then I'll have to go 99.5. Again, every printer is a little different. Some of the Canons we print like 98.5%. Some of the Hewlett Packards like the 99. Some like 99.5. So just the first time you do it, you'll know. And then you print that one out. And then with this one, again, you're just going to cut it right down the middle, and you're going to have 3 cuts, horizontal. And that's that. Let's get one that is a different paper size. So if we were to print one of the registry book pages on the premium, when you go to print that, you want to make sure you have 6.5, 9.5 set up to print. And same thing with this one. This one isn't as critical because there's no cutting. So with this one, you're going to use our 6.5, 9.5 paper that's pre-cut. So this prints 1 up on that paper, and it's a little thicker paper. And again, if you keep it on 100%, it's just going to enlarge it, like 102, 101%. And I would prefer, if you want it to look just right, I would go on 99% on that one. And once again, you can see the white border here, but whenever you have it on, so with this one here, let's go on the 8210, 6.5, 9.5. You've got to find somewhere where it says no border. And usually you'll find that border none. So keep it on border, none. Preview, there's a little hairline there, but it should print out just fine. If you want to do any of the 8.5 by 11s on 100%, they'll work as well because there's no folding. So if they aren't going to grow too much, that's going to bother anything. So that's how I would do that one. And let's see if there's another different one here. Thank you cards. So thank you cards are 4 up. You can see again, this one's upside down. That's because in the middle, all this grass is kind of merged together, and same with the sky. So if you just happen to, this one's going to be easy to cut once you print it out. You go right in the 5.5 and right in the 4.5. So it's just split right down the middle twice. But if you happen to go a little bit on one side or the other, it's not going to show because there's no hard edge. So on this one, File, Print. Pick the printer that you're using. Make sure you've got the right paper in there, and make sure it's borderless. So on this one, the thank you cards, you would have the thicker 8.5 by 11 stock. It's an 80-pound cover stock. Put it on borderless, and then scale it to 99% for the first go, and see if that works for your printer. And hit print. Then when you print this off, it's going to come out on your paper tray looking just like this. And again, on all the printers we use, we set it right back in for the second side, just like it comes out. And then it'll go through your printer and flip it, and then it'll print the other side, and it'll line up just perfect. I think that's about the only other, for the register small, I will go through that one. So let's go, this is the small register book, so this is the economy one. This is built 5.5 by 8.5. So when you print this one, you can print it 2 up. You can print it like this. If you're just going to do one book, that's fine. It's got to trim out all four sides. But if you put it to, let's go on our printer we're going to use. We'll do the 8210. We want copies per page 2. And it's going to automatically rotate and get 2 up. So you're going to get 2 pieces printed on this one. And then you just trim right down the middle on that one. So this one does have a hard edge that you trim, but you know, if it's just one of them, you can trim right down the edge. And again, do it on borderless. With this one, again, I would do 99%. Not as critical because you're not folding it. And that should cover most of them. So this one here is the big brochure, 8.5 by 11, that just folds in half once. So when you print it, again, not as critical because there's not multiple versions of it, but I would print this at 99% and make sure it's on borderless, whatever printer you use. And not 98, 99. And again, you'll see the little white line here, but when it prints, whenever it's on borderless, the printer compensates for that and it enlarges your artwork a little bit. So I would do it on 99%. That should get you through the printing. I always usually do best, but it'll go slower. Normal works good too if you've got that option on every printer. And then as far as the paper type, again, auto select is what I normally do, and that gives the brightest, sharpest colors. I've tried brochure matte paper, and it's a little bit more dull when I do that. So auto select, if you've got that option, is the best. Otherwise, plain paper is the best, depending on what printer you use. So those are our tips for getting these printed.